Hey, you're gonna.
But hello, everyone. Thank you for coming for our first meeting of the year. Today we have Natalie, our wonderful Natalie, who used to be a student at SBCC. She was a huge part of our film program here. She directed multiple projects as well as tried out just about every other role as well. She's very familiar with film and the film industry, and she's currently at USC Film School. So today she's just going to talk about her experience with that, her process getting in, any tips that she has for you guys in the admissions process. It's very scary and confusing, and I think that she puts it in such approachable, encouraging terms. She's helped mentor multiple of our students. So Natalie, take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I love doing these programs. I love being here and helping all of you guys get in, because SBCC community in general, also the film community, you guys are incredibly special, and you guys have such an upper on other people when it comes to getting into amazing schools. The education you guys are getting is actually really, really top notch. So I'm going to share with you guys a PowerPoint I made to make things just a little bit more digestible. Here, one sec. Alrighty. Oh no, my dog's knocking at the door. I'm going to have to get him because he's going to be very upset if I don't grab him. Come in, come in. Come in. Welcome, welcome, Benji.
Benji's a film dog for sure. He's Linda on set.
He will be joining us for this transferring from SBCC PowerPoint. So a little bit about my background. I started at CC in 2017. I was actually there for 4 years. I first started in acting, which is actually how I got to know a lot of the film people in the film community. And I graduated with acting and directing for theater. And I realized that I hate acting, and I realized that maybe instead production would be the way to go. And as I'm sure you all know, production is just the absolute best, and it allows you to create your own stories, which I think is incredibly beautiful. I'm from a low-income single-parent household where college is not extremely accessible to a lot of us, and I'm a first-generation student. I've directed 5 films, music videos throughout my first year starting film production at CC, and it's extremely easy to do that because you guys are a good community where you can come together and do independent projects. And last year, I transferred into USC Film and Television Production, fall 2021. And I just have to say that I would not be here if I did not have the education at CC, because like I said many times, it's the absolute best. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the transferring process and what these big schools are looking for. So they're looking for a distinguished voice. If you have real vision, they will see it. If you have stories to share about an experience you had, or a particular thing that you have done, or an idea that has never been seen before, these are the kind of things they're looking for. They're not looking for cookie cutter things at all. The film industry is changing constantly. They're looking for compelling, really, really good stories. They're also looking for people of different backgrounds. So I don't know how much you guys know about the industry as a whole and the statistics that are being shown for women directing in film and minorities being on set, but they are so extremely low. From 2004 to 2014, only 4 out of all the feature films made during that 10-year span, only 4.7% of them were directed by women. So it is a pretty intense statistic. However, that means that it's coming more into the public consciousness, and things are changing for us. They're changing in so many ways. Women are there, minorities are there. No matter what your background is, you have a chance now. They're also looking for truthful and introspective answers to show off your critical thinking skills. So what that means is you need to really, really dig deep for these essay questions that you're going to have to write. I mean, depending if you're going to UC, if you're going to a private school, they're trying to get to know you as a person. And the thing that I've noticed about these, they do not have to be formal essays like you think they have to be. We are artists, we are storytellers, so tell stories. this is our strong suit, and that's what they appreciate. They also want to have people who have some sort of experience, which all of you guys have. Being able to manage sets, being able to run sets, and have the experience to show off your technical skills, which CC does a fantastic job at, really shows how passionate and how able you are as a creator. So grades and GPA, that's a pretty hard one for a lot of people because it brings a lot of stress. It really does not matter as much as you think it does. I have heard of people getting into USC with like a 3.1 GPA, which is like online, they say you have to have like a 3.8 or 3.9. A lot of those things you look up online during this time are not entirely accurate. What they're looking for is a great visionary. They're wildly inaccurate. They're looking for voice, vision, and stellar recommendation letters. So you guys need to start getting on your recommendation letters right now. You still have about 2 months until, we'll talk more about deadlines, but you have to get on your recommendation letters, figure out who you know, like use DeVega, use Curtis, and because a lot of those guys have some amazing insight about who you are as a student. And also I remember use like one of my like writing teachers as a recommendation essay guy too. And it works out if they know you have to really be known by these people. SATs. So I never took any SATs whatsoever. I never took any ACTs, none of that in high school. Your high school progress or what you've done in high school does not matter either. So everything that you are applying now, they want to see improvement. So when I was in high school, I got some Fs and I got some Ds. I was not a stellar student. I walked away with like a 2.6. No, I'm not even. It's something like that. It was really low. But I got a lot better grades when I started going to CC. What they're looking for is active improvement and active growth because they want to see you thrive where you're at. So how to write an essay. UCLA, all of the UCs, UCSB, they require 5 main essays from you. And they also require like particular major essays. So here's some examples from when I was applying. They have like a critical essay, a life challenge essay, a personal essay. They usually also, they have like additionals too. So what they want is a film resume, usually screenplay example for UCLA and UCSB. They want to see how you write. Scholarship essay, if that's something you're wanting to go for. Also, I'm going to tell you guys about scholarships because they've changed drastically at USC, and a collaboration essay about what you kind of are on set. So these are just kind of ideas of what to think about, and try to make them as personable as you possibly can. They want you to explain who you are as a person and get a better insight on you. So the UC application essays are a little bit different from the private school essays. I have links here that I'm going to be sending to Adriana so you guys know exactly how to get here, exactly what dates you need. She'll send that on a newsletter so you guys know how the process goes. They ask you 8 questions, 5 of which you must answer. And I think it's about 250 words each. And also what I would recommend is going through all of them and answering all of them because you may surprise yourself on what you have to talk about. So here's some examples of what they choose. I don't think they change them very often. Describe how you prepared for your intended major, including your readiness to succeed in upper division courses once you enroll at university. Beyond what shared in your application, what do you believe makes you stand out as a strong candidate? So these are questions to be kind of thinking about, being introspective about yourself. And also, so something about this is the common application. So UCLA, UCSB, UC Santa Cruz, all the UCs use this format. So if you can get in, like I applied to those 3 as well, all at the same time. So you don't have to write separate essays every single time, which makes it a lot easier. But yes, most importantly, tell a story. We are artists, we are creators, we are storytellers. They want to see how you can use your own words introspectively while also weaving in a story about your life. For example, I talked about my childhood going into harder times during high school and then kind of finding my path in college, which may be a similar story to you guys. Figure out why you found the passion to be a filmmaker, because everyone has that passion there. What makes it so special to you? So here's some examples of what I wrote. So it's like my greatest skill is ambition. I talk about my childhood here as a kid, what I did, moving forward, kind of like hard times. So what you're gonna find very often is they are looking for what's known as trauma essays, which I'm sure you guys have heard that term before. They are looking for you overcoming hardships in your life in order to make a better world for yourself and a better life for yourself. What they want to see is active improvement and strides to make things happen. And if challenges are thrown at you, you can get through it. And yeah, so the UCLA specific essays, I'm sure a lot of you guys might be interested in UCLA. They have the personal essay, the critical essay, and the life challenge essay. So the personal essay, what you have to do, talk about yourself, which should be really, hopefully easy for everybody. The critical essay is when you start to talk about a film that you really love, and you can kind of go into why it's so special to you. You can pick any film you possibly want. They just want to see how you analyze and critique film in order to get a better insight onto how your artistic vision works. They also have the life challenge essay, which is the trauma essay. I'm not going to lie to you guys. They want you to talk about this because as of right now, based on statistics or however else they want to be pushing minorities to come forward, they want this to happen and they want to see active change within the community. I think a lot of people are very tired of the same type of stories. They are tired of hearing from one perspective. Bring in a new perspective because we are the future and they are counting on us right now to bring in some insight in a special way. Here's some of the USC specific essays and documents. So this one is a lot more intense. So actually, I'm going to go back for a moment. I'll just talk about it. So for the UCs, you have until November 30th to get everything in. And that's the common application. And I'll be sending links to Adriana. You guys will all get this. It's a really, really simple process, but that is your deadline if you want to get into any of the UC schools. For every single private school, it is a little bit different, but for USC specifically, you have until February 1st, and they're going to be asking a lot from you. They want a portfolio and resume. They want a personal statement, which is based, I just ripped it off of the personal essay. USC scholarship questions if you're interested in scholarships, collaboration essay, the struggle essay. They want to ask why you're going to USC, your reasons for transferring. You also need to submit a 5-minute film. So that is something to start working on right now. You have until February 1st to have a fully edited 5-minute film. And also, it does not actually have to be 5 minutes. If you made something longer, you can also edit it down into 5 minutes, which is actually what I did, and kind of tell them like, hey, I had a longer film, but these are kind of like the highlights. They just want to see you as you are, like a director or screenwriter. So USC specifically looks for a lot of screenwriters and directors. I think Chapman looks for DPs. I mean, all of these schools have different people that they are looking for. So USC is very director and writer focused. You also need to make an introduction video. It is 1 minute long. You sit in front of the camera, no edits, and you talk about yourself and why you're excited to be going to an amazing school. And also, of course, your transcripts. So for transcripts, you have to send them in as soon as you can. It's gonna be like an unfinished transcript. It's not an official transcript. When you get accepted, then you have to send in your official transcript. So you guys have some time for that. Don't trip up about it. And then you have until February 1st. I'm also gonna talk about scholarships really quickly as well. So as of 2 years ago, I know the cost of college seems very intense, especially when you say, hey, this college costs $65,000. Which is attainable for who exactly? No one. If you make under 80 grand as a family unit, you can go to USC for free. They have finally adopted the UC system where they are actually helping students. Right now, I am currently going to USC for free because my family makes way under that. And I'm sure a lot of us fit into that category as well. And their scholarship options are absolutely insane these days. And if you still feel like it's too much money, you can contest it and they'll bring it down a couple $1,000s even so. So it's becoming a lot more attainable to everybody now. In order to do that, also, you need to have your FAFSA filled out by February 1st as well. And you need to select every single college that you have applied for so they know when you get into what college, how they can, or no, it's March 1st, every single college that you've applied for. And then so they can send the money your way. So here's the link for the common application. This is the specific one for USC, and this is where you need to put in all of your information. Once again, I'll be sending this to Adriana. These will all be very accessible to you guys. Remember, the deadline is February 1st. So here's the dates to consider. So the UC applications, November 30th. You guys do not need to stress yet. I know this is like very overwhelming, and it's also incredibly difficult being on productions, taking like, I don't even know how many units and trying to like make a film outside of that, but you guys have time. These essays are not the end of the world. I bet everyone can do it. And also, I'm always available if you guys want me to look at something for you. Please send them to me, and I'm very happy to tell you anything you need. I was helping, if you probably know Ray Shea. I helped him edit a lot of his essays too. He got all the way to the interview stage. I can help you guys when you get to the interview stage, what to say. Just let me know, because I've kind of like scammed the system and understand how these people's brains work, because they aren't just ambiguous entities. They are real people who are hand selecting you for specific colleges, and I can help you answer any questions that you have. CSUN application is due December 15th. Something that's different about CSUN as opposed to the UCs is you need to have a communications class, which is not required by USC or UCs or like private colleges. So if you have time, try to fit in a communications class next semester, because you're going to need that in order to apply to CSUN. Also, FAFSA and Cal Grants are due by March 30th. Oh, my date was wrong. But yes, it's March 30th. You have to input all of your information there, and you will be set. Make sure you send sending the preliminary final transcripts. Yes. So intent to register is where it gets a little bit difficult. The UC's cutoff date so they send out the UC acceptance letters around like March-ish, March, April, and you don't figure out, I think it was CSUN, USC, NYU, Chapman, all of these colleges until a way later date. So here's where it gets difficult. You have to intend to register the day before USC even sends out their acceptance letters. Most of the time, you have to like just pick a college, and then if another college comes through, then you can go to that one. And sometimes you will take a financial hit, because you need to, with intent to register, it usually costs some money. I think it's like $300 or something like that. So make sure you have a backup. Don't just wait around. And yeah, so it's a little confusing on how it works that way, but hopefully you guys will get some good colleges. So now let's talk about what film school is right for me. So we talked a little bit about how USC really wants directors and writers. CSUN is like fantastic for DPs, editors. UC Santa Barbara is where you can just make anything you want to. It's extremely creative. And UCLA is definitely screenwriting heavy. So let's talk about CSUN a little bit. This is a guarantee for you guys. Every single film student right now will get into CSUN. And luckily, there's a huge SBCC community already there. We have a lot of alumni there who would be loving to help you guys and get your foot in the door. It's close to LA, which is really great. Lots of CC alumni, and you guys will get in. The cons are you have to do 3 years. Instead of a 2-year, like, you go to CC for 2 years, do your last 2 years, you have to do 3 years. Your first year is going to be ridiculously boring, because they go over like theoretical film, and you can't really do a lot of set work like you guys are used to doing. And then you have to apply for the film program, and there's a chance you may not get in. I knew a couple of people who went there. They did their first year, applied for the film program, and they didn't get in and had to go to like a different offshoot of film. So that is something that may happen to you. UCLA, it is in LA. It is a fantastic film school, and you get a lot of guaranteed connections. Um, it is very, very, very hard to get into, though. That is the main problem. Um, I think my year when I was transferring, they only let in 15 transfers into the film program, which is so low. It's actually ridiculous. And also, I think another con is UCLA does a lot more theoretical film as opposed to practical film. You will not find yourself on set very often, and you'll find yourself more in like a writer's room talking about stories. So you won't be able to really advance yourself on sets as often as you would like to. UCSB, you guys are already in Santa Barbara. You will have all of your friends still there, free locations. Oh, here's a huge thing, film permits. You need to have film permits anywhere in LA in order to shoot anything, and they cost a lot of money. So in Santa Barbara, no such thing as film permits. You can film anywhere, anytime, and you guys are good. It's super easy to get into. Everyone I know has gotten into UCSB. The only problem though I've noticed at UCSB sets is sometimes people are a little less experienced, and you guys will definitely be like the strongest contenders there. A little bit more theoretical rather than practical, and harder to get connections to the LA area. However, you will be on set a lot, and you will be making a lot of films, and you guys will have so many people to hand choose in order to make amazing films. And it's also not too far from home.
And I'd like to add that you guys can do the tag program from
Mhm.
SBCC into UCSB. So it's like a guaranteed admission if you meet all those tag requirements.
Yeah, also guaranteed, which is fantastic. USC, it's in LA, has the most amazing connections because they really drill into you the community standards. They have guaranteed jobs. So once you're in USC, for 7 years after you graduate, you will get guaranteed jobs, internships. You can go to the festival coordinator office and they will send out your films for you. I mean, like it's an incredible school, amazing people, and very talented people as well. Here's the con though. Teachers really only care about master's students who are like really perfecting their craft. So you will also feel like when you get there as a first year, you will feel like a lot of this is very remedial based on the work that CC does. And it's kind of hard to sit through and get everyone up to the same standard. It takes a while, but then once you're in it, like I'm in my second year now, it feels a lot better. And you get so much insider information you could never even expect. The one thing is though, it is expensive if you don't have any type of scholarship. Guys, please apply for scholarships because they are just trying to give away money at this point. Also, as we all know, it is extremely hard to get into with a 2% acceptance rate. However, we have gotten like a couple of like maybe like 1 to 2 CC students in every single year. So it could be one of you. We have like statistically always gotten CC students in because our community is brilliant. And so like try for this one because it really, really could be you. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the industry. So there's a difference between going, so you do have the option to also not transfer. You can go into just jobs around town or you can go to film school. The difference though is when you are working film sets constantly, it is extremely hard to move up in terms of hierarchy. So if you want to just go out and be a writer director, it's really, really hard to do that without the connections through film school. If you want to do a more practical or technical skill set, like you want a gaff, you want a DP, you want to do anything with sound, it is super easy to get into the unit. You will have guaranteed jobs that way. You'll increase your pay extremely well. You'll get better sets. You'll be treated right. And it's also just a great community as well. I mean, a lot of union people are really, really incredible. Film school, great for directors, producers, and screenwriters. Easier to make connections in school to build your skills that way. You can skip a lot of the PA gigs by going to a school that offers you industry connections. And a lot of these schools have amazing industry connections. I just know about the ones at USC because that's where I currently go, but you guys are not lost if you do not get into this school, because everything is going to be good and you guys have connections already with CC community. So also, this is why you guys are very lucky. With the rate of people going to amazing schools, you already have this community like set already. You guys all work together. You guys all know each other very personally. This is your community right now. These are the people who are going to get you jobs in the future. So we're going to try to like be nice to each other and work together. Because if we're creating and I know it's like with the system with, DeVega being like, oh, we need to like pick the best script and do it this way. Just throw that out of your mind. If you are constantly looking at this industry as a competition-based field, you're not going to get anywhere. Everything is about community connections, being friends, because someone is going to hire you because they know you. And CC does an amazing job at putting that in place. You guys need to work together, and this is how it's going to be done. I mean, with my graduating class, I live with Justin, I'm with Ben. I mean, these are the people I'm going to be working with for the rest of my life. And when you guys look at each other, just know that you're going to be working with each other for the rest of your lives. And these are your people. Yeah, so I'm opening up to any questions you guys have. How do I stop this share? Oh my gosh.
I have a question.
Yeah.
First thing, I just remembered like watching you in high school. I know we went to the same high school with like McKinnon and like plays and stuff.
Oh, wow. Hi.
And I just remember watching you when I was like in 8th grade, like performing in those plays. So, but second thing, did you apply to Chapman? And how was that?
So I did not apply to Chapman because I wasn't super interested in moving that far away from Santa Barbara, but kind of put the cutoff in LA. However, a lot of us get into Chapman as well. And I heard it's a pretty easy application process. And also they accept a lot of our students. I think everyone I know who applied to Chapman got in. So, and I heard that, I don't know much about it. I was actually asking people to make sure I could like talk about Chapman if I needed to. They have great facilities. I mean, they have amazing cameras to work with, all the grip equipment you could possibly need. And they do well. I mean, Chapman does very, very, very well for itself. And you get the kind of connections that you need because you're just close enough to LA. So I think it's a fantastic choice. Also, I heard one thing, it's called like the Chapman shot, where you have the option to use a jib or like I think you use like, those construction things where you like move up and you're standing here, you go, woo! You use one of those and everyone has the chance to use one of those. So that's like the Chapman shot, everyone uses them. But I think it's a very technically advanced school, which is a fantastic option for us.
Okay, thank you.
I think the main thing about the Chapman application is that you have to do the 2-minute silent film. And the primary recommendation for that is that a lot of students will approach that as, making the silent film off of their 5-minute film for USC and trying to use the same film for that. But a lot of students do get in trouble because it's really hard creatively to honor both of those and do well. So I would say if you do plan on doing that and combining both the 5-minute USC film and the Chapman 2-minute silent film, to just be very careful about how you're approaching that story-wise.
Yeah, I know Ireland did that and she got into UCSB or USC. So
I saw her combined. I personally would not do that purely because story always takes precedence over everything else. I mean, you guys can have like the best DP, like the best lighting, and it's gonna look so smooth and perfect. But if the story is not there, they just aren't going to consider it. It doesn't matter if you shoot it on an iPhone, if you make a documentary, you just have to have a really, really good story. So that's the main thing I would look out for. It does not matter how beautiful it is, does not matter how big your crew is, just have a really good story that explains you as a person, I mean, I would stay away from horror in general. I would stay away from, actually comedy does pretty well sometimes, but I guess what they're looking for is something that shows off you. So a story that comes from your life.
question. I have a
Yeah.
question. So does the film you submit have to be written by you, or like is it something that you can direct someone else wrote? Like what is the criteria for like your position on that film?
Depends on what school. For UCLA, you have to submit a script written by you. For USC, you can just be the director as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting there as a director, then you're good, and you can kind of tell your process about how you saw the script and moved it to the screen. You don't have to be the writer.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
For the USC film, I can't. Okay, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly what you said, but you just said basically that the story should be something that like comes from you, comes from your life.
Mhm.
But or at least, but like I think so often with student films, you see the same stories over and over just because so many film students have the same stories to tell when they're just like, this story is about a filmmaker who's making a film or a screenwriter who's getting stuck by writer's block. How original.
Yeah, definitely don't go that route.
Yeah. I can't remember. I had a question there, and then I went on a rant. I can't remember what my question was.
Are you asking kind of what they're looking for in terms of background stories besides troubled artist?
I'm not sure. I guess so. Like the script I'm working on right now for a 5-minute USC application is completely and totally unrelated to my life. It has nothing to do with my life whatsoever.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
And so I'm wondering like if it's still a good idea. It's like completely not me, but
Yeah, no, that's fine. What they're looking for is not a story based off your life. I think that's a good way to go if you can't find something, as opposed to falling into cliches. But what they're looking for is your artistic voice. So if it comes from you and they see this, I don't know what your story is, but if they see your voice in it, that's what they're looking for. It doesn't have to exactly come from your life, but they have to see you through it.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like in terms of style, in terms of how you use your shot list, in terms of how you direct your actors. Also, guys, remember to use your actors. This is something I see so often with us because we're so technically based. We're like, oh, think about the camera and like the lighting looks sick. But like really, really, really work with your actors. Something that I have learned that is invaluable is do not give them okay, try to be happy in this scene, or like try to be sad. Like you're so sad that the tears are overtaking you. Give them a want and a need. So when you're saying, I'm going to talk, for example, something I'm doing right now is this girl's husband is like having an affair. So I'm talking about her wants of, I want him to stay home, but her need is, I need to leave him. So if you have conflicting wants and needs, it makes for a very powerful story about people. What they're looking for is like really good direction, because you can see it so clearly on the screen. Make them have an internal monologue. So it's not just, I'm expressing these emotions because the shot needs to be like this. Have them like really, really understand the story and go through everything with them, because that is what they're looking for.
Okay, so first off, Natalie, this is actually, we actually met once before in another workshop from the film community. It was for this guy talking about sets. I forgot his name, but yeah, we were recording, and then you showed up near the end, and
oh yes.
yeah, and but anyway, yeah. So yeah, last semester I was taking this film production class taught by this guy Ted Mills, and every Monday he would ask us if we saw a movie, and then he would later ask us what we would steal from it. And so that actually kind of got me thinking, is there anything that you've stolen for your short film?
Oh,
you know.
absolutely. Yes, yes. I mean, it is so incredibly hard to just come up with an idea completely apropos of nothing. I mean, that creative process really doesn't work. What you need to do, what I think he's asking also is, what is the inspiration? What is something that you adore about this film, that a feeling that you want to capture that you can apply to your own work? Every single idea is not unique. Every single idea comes from other ideas and evolves into your own eventually. So for, I guess, an example, I did this film at CC called Getaway, and I saw a robbery that happened on screen about, I can't even remember what the show is called, but I saw a really cool stylistic robbery, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna write a film that has a robbery in it and then go from there, because it's something that interested me, something I wanted to direct, something I wanted to write about. And of course, it didn't take the exact same narrative as the other story, but it is so important, you guys, to have really, really good inspiration. For example, if you love moonlight because of the lighting, start incorporating some of that lighting into your own films. And it's never about like ripping off, like no ideas are original. Find things that you adore, and there's a reason you adore them. It's because you want to create art that looks like that.
If we have questions for you later, like during the process, is there any way we can contact you, like an Instagram or anything?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm gonna put my email down for you guys and my phone number, because I would absolutely love if you sent me your essays so I can look over them and kind of tell you which direction to head in. And
Natalie is so cool, guys. She's so cool. This is an awesome course.
there is my phone number. Please send me anything, because I'm so happy to help you guys reform anything. Also, if you want to talk script ideas as well, if you want to like pitch for something like production 2, or you're making something for the directing class, just like talk to me and I can definitely help guide you guys, because unfortunately at CC, they are not very story driven. You know, it's very, very hard to find a class there that teaches you the complexities of screenwriting and storytelling, because everything's like technical vision, let's go. I mean, what's the best camera we can get on this set? So if you guys ever want to talk story or ideas or inspiration, just like hit me up. We're all the same community.
Natalie, you're so awesome. You're so awesome. And I'll also be sending out, or Cassidy will be making our new newsletter soon. And so I'll be sending out the links that Natalie provided today, as well as her contact information, if you guys didn't get it down today. But yeah, does anyone have any final questions for her? Don't be shy. She bites sometimes.
Actually, yeah. So I guess like what I also want to know is, have you ever used the same actor for different projects?
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you are in a tight squeeze and you need to make, let's say, application films or something specifically for a directing class, if you find an actor that you really enjoy working with, continue to use them, because that is like a dime a dozen. Also, I think it's also really smart to be pulling actors from your other friends' sets as well, and kind of get them involved in the community, because you know how they work on set. There are times where you will cast an actor and they will be completely different with how you work with them on set. So knowing how they work on set and being able to have a connection there makes a world of a difference. And I've used the same actors a couple of times, actually, because I just thought they were amazing. They told the story well. So creating, as like a director, creating your own like actors forum of people you can pull from last minute is an extremely invaluable tool.
Yeah, that's cool, because I've actually well, if I when I eventually get into the film industry, I want to do something different with each story I tell. That is, I use a different actor each time. But unless they can do something different, then I gladly work with them again. So
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
think of like I think it's Karen. No, who? Someone's used Leo, like Scorsese's used Leo like every single time. You know, like they have a bond there. I mean, if you find a good team, then use them. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh.
All right. Well, I recorded this. So I'm gonna end the recording.